Hello, my name is Hans George Campbell, and welcome to part 2 of my electronics assembly video series. When I first started working as an electronics assembler all those years ago, the first thing that I had to learn, the first class that I attended, was ESD. I had to learn about static electricity. Okay, before I can even touch a soldering iron or any of my electronics tools, I had to learn about proper ESD safety procedures. It's that important. Okay. When you walk across a carpet and you touch a doorknob and you feel that zap and you see that spark, in order for you to see or feel static electricity, it has to be at least 3,000 volts. Yes, you heard me right. This is so important that I'm going to repeat it. In order to see or feel static electricity, it has to be at least 3,000 volts. Okay? Any static electricity that is less than 3,000 volts, you cannot see it or feel it. Now, most integrated circuits and static sensitive electronic components, it only takes between 25 volts and 100 volts of static electricity to zap them. Okay? You can't feel or see that low static electricity. Okay? Static electricity is the #1 cause of component failure. Now this is so important, I'm going to repeat it. Static electricity, damage by static electricity, is the #1 cause of component failure. Okay? And a device that's zapped by static electricity will not always show the results of that damage right away. Sometimes the static electricity just zaps the protective insulation layer between the parts that are inside of an integrated circuit. And it can take up to 90 days for that corrosion process to finally eat away through that protective layer and to cause a short. Okay, so if you ever wondered why your standard warranty is 90 days, that's why. Because the companies that produce this electronics, the electronics devices, they, if their device is going to fail because of, due to damage from static electricity from the factory, this will occur within the first 90 days. And that's why your standard warranty, most warranties, are 90 days. Okay? Now, you do not have to touch an integrated circuit or a circuit board in order to zap it. Okay? Sensitive electronic devices can be zapped by static electricity from up to 3 feet away. In other words, you don't even have to touch the board or the electronics device in order to zap it. It can be zapped from up to 3 feet away. And this is the reason why whenever you go into an electronics production area, you'll see on the floor a yellow and black stripe that goes all the way around the assembly area, the production area. You'll see a stripe. It's either red and black or yellow and black. A stripe that goes all the way around the production area. And what that's for is any visitors that visit the production area, they are not allowed to cross that line. If they do, security will be escorting them from the building. Oh yeah. And any production worker, electronics assembly worker, they are not allowed to cross that line until they have their anti-static smock on, and they have their wrist strap on, and it's been tested, and they sign their name on the paperwork that's hanging up next to the wrist strap tester. We had to do that in the morning time before we started, and after we came back from lunch. If you did not adhere to the strict ESD safety standards, your first offense, you would get a warning. The second offense, you would be written up. The third offense, you would be fired. Yes, I've watched a lot of people get fired because they did not take static electricity seriously. Okay? It's serious. So serious, it's the very first thing you learn about in your electronics assembly career. It's the very first thing you'll learn about. Okay? And once again, this is so important, I'm going to repeat it. Write it down if you have to. Damage by static electricity is the #1 cause of component failure. Okay? So, this concludes part 2 of this video. My name is Hans George Campbell. Stay tuned for part 3.